If you have problems with feeling tired throughout the day, this video is for you. Let's talk. Hi there, Shannon here with Genesis Balance. If you're new to my channel, I want to say welcome. And if you've been here before, I want to say welcome back and thank you so much for your support. If you haven't done so already, I want you to go ahead and click that subscribe button below and make sure you click the bell for notifications because I don't want you to miss a moment of these videos that are designed to help you live your best life. So today I wanted to talk about feeling exhausted and what that means to your body and what that means from the mental health perspective. So I kind of took it upon myself to embark on this personal journey of figuring out why I feel exhausted all the time and trying to find things that would help me throughout my day not feel so tired, not feel so exhausted. So I did some research and I've actually learned a lot of different things that I don't know that I necessarily knew before, and I started putting those different things into practice. And now I am going to kind of go through the list and give you the results. But before I do that, I want to just point out a couple of things. Number one, there is a correlation, there's a connection between anxiety and depression and feeling tired. So one of the symptoms of depression or anxiety is a issue of sleep, changes in sleep pattern, feelings of fatigue, insomnia, things of that nature. So I did some research, and what I'm thinking, at least what I found, is that the chemicals that kind of contribute to experiencing anxiety or depression, those neurotransmitters, are serotonin and dopamine. And in another video, I explained a little bit more about serotonin and how it plays a role in whether or not you feel depressed, and why sometimes you can feel depressed even though there wasn't a physical trigger to the depression, because that is the chemical that is out of balance when you are dealing with depression. So when serotonin is out of balance, you can not only have symptoms of depression, but also this chronic fatigue kind of thing happening. And the reason for that is because serotonin and dopamine, those two chemicals, actually play a role in your sleep wake cycle. And that is something that I actually wasn't aware of in its entirety. I knew that there was a connection between feeling exhausted and feeling depressed, but I didn't realize that it was the same chemicals, the same neurotransmitters that played a role or had a factor in it. So when those chemicals are out of whack, so many things can get wonky for you, if you will, and your sleep wake cycle is one of those things. So practicing good sleep hygiene really comes into play. And this was something that was very difficult for me to do. Like, I knew in theory what I needed to do. I know in theory the kind of the steps and the guidelines to practicing good sleep hygiene, but it was so difficult for me because I was just always tired no matter what. So even going to bed earlier or trying to get more sleep in wasn't working. And what I would find is I would be so exhausted during the day that I was taking these naps, and I would be frustrated because even though I just took a nap in the middle of the day, I would wake up and I would still be tired, and I didn't understand what was happening or why that was happening. And it was really frustrating, and it kind of put me in this cycle of fatigue, depression, because it's kind of unclear to me right now as to whether the depression is causing the fatigue or the fatigue is causing the depression, which is the case with so many people. Being tired all the time really leaves you feeling depressed, and it can also lead to you feeling on edge, irritable, anxious, cranky, moody, just all of those different things. So the jury is still kind of out on which came first, the chicken or the egg, the depression or the fatigue. So obviously, the first thing that I tried to do, and the first thing that pretty much anyone is going to tell you to do, is get enough nighttime sleep. And enough nighttime sleep is defined as 7 to 9 hours for the typical average adult. So obviously, the 8 hours of sleep is right in the middle of those two. So that's what you're aiming for, 7 to 9 hours a night. And it's not just about getting those 7 to 9 hours a night, it's about the quality of the sleep that you're getting as well. So you want to do things to make sure you can enhance the quality of your sleep, such as lowering the temperature, because your body wants to lower the temperature when it's trying to sleep. That's actually something that triggers melatonin, which is the hormone that is produced to make you sleepy. It is triggered by a drop in temperature, which is why sometimes if you're in a cold room, you start to feel groggy or drowsy, because the drop in temperature is what triggers that hormone to release. So you want to do things like make sure you're cool. Try not to drink any caffeine within 8 hours of going to sleep, because caffeine has a pretty long half-life. And that means even though you drank the coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it can still be having an effect on you later in the evening when you're ready for bed. So making sure you're kind of monitoring your caffeine intake, and remembering that caffeine is not just found in caffeinated beverages. It's in foods as well, like chocolate and things of that nature. So really just being aware of what you're putting into your body and how that's going to affect your sleep quality. So, lowering the temperature, monitoring your caffeine, things like making sure the room is dark, because that also helps to produce the melatonin in your body. And so those were the types of things that I initially was trying, but it just wasn't enough. So I kept digging, and I learned a few other things that, aside from the obvious getting more sleep, actually turned out to be really beneficial and really helpful. So the next thing that I would suggest is to make sure you're drinking a lot of water. So it turns out that even very mild dehydration can cause you to feel tired, groggy, irritable, moody, all of those things that comes with being exhausted. A big chunk of it can come from being dehydrated. And when I say dehydrated, I don't mean like you need to go to the ER and get an IV put in because you're so dehydrated. I'm talking a very small amount of dehydration, 1.5%. So if your body is lacking 1.5% of its water weight, you can start to feel the effects of being exhausted, cranky, moody, and tired. So making sure you're drinking a lot of water. When you think you've had enough water, drink some more, because you can't, it's very hard to fathom the amount of water that you really should be taking in on a daily basis. So making sure you're drinking plenty of water and not becoming even mildly dehydrated has been a key factor in, at least for me, in my energy levels elevating throughout the day, or staying more stable throughout the day. So the third thing is to take a short walk or stretch at least once every hour. So what I've learned in my research is that apparently, and it seems kind of obvious now that I've read about it, but apparently your body associates stillness with sleep. So when we think about going to sleep, what do? You get in the bed, you lie down, and you stay still, and you fall asleep. Well, if you have a desk job, for instance, or in my case, if you're sitting in session with clients all day, then your body is being pretty much still, and has an association between that stillness of your body and being tired or sleepy. It's preparing you for sleep whenever you are still for a certain amount of time. So to combat that, you want to get up, move around, walk around, stretch, whatever it is you can do within the confines of your day at least once an hour. Even if it's just a stretch at your desk, you need to be doing some type of movement with your body at least once an hour to kind of wake it up and make sure it knows that no, it's not time to go to sleep right now. And then the fourth thing that stood out to me that I absolutely love, and I've been doing this for about 2 weeks now, is taking a power nap. Now, I know in the beginning of the video, I said that I was napping, during the day and I was still waking up feeling tired. And it turned out I've been doing it wrong. Yes, there is actually a right way and a wrong way to take a power nap. So the name power nap is actually a misnomer. It is not actually a nap in the sense that we usually think. The goal of a power nap is not to fall asleep. So when I was taking these naps throughout the day, I was full on lying down or full on getting in the bed, pulling the covers over my head and going to sleep for an hour and a half, however long it may be. That is not a power nap. That is sleep. And that is not what you want to do when you're feeling exhausted throughout the day. So what you actually want to do is set your alarm for 20 to 30 minutes and relax. It is not so much going to sleep. That's not the goal. The goal is to almost go into like this deep meditative state where you are unplugged from everything and your mind is not focusing on any one thing and you are in your body is in a relaxed state. So some people say go lie down and do this. I know that if you're at work, that may not even be something that's possible. What I do is I literally sit in this chair and I just put my feet up and I lay back. I set my alarm for 20 minutes and I close my eyes. Sometimes I do find myself actually kind of drifting, like really drifting off. But more often than not, I'm pretty much aware the whole time that I'm doing this, but I am kind of like in a deep meditative state where I'm not thinking of anything. I'm very super relaxed, and it would be very easy for me to go ahead and fall asleep if that was the goal. So you want to take those power naps and do that for 20 to 30 minutes at, when you're starting to feel lethargic or groggy or what have you. Now, the reason why you don't want to go past the 30-minute mark is because that's when you start to get into a deeper sleep. And when you wake up, you haven't gone through an entire sleep cycle, and so you wake up feeling groggy. It's kind of the same as when you wake up in the morning before you really wake up and you still feel a little tired, a little groggy when your alarm goes off. So that's what you're doing to your body if you are allowing yourself to actually fall into a deep sleep for anything longer than 30 minutes. So that's why I was taking these long naps throughout the day, in the middle of the day, and I was waking up and I was still feeling exhausted. My body had not gone all the way through the full sleep cycle because I wasn't sleeping for 7 to 9 hours, but I was in a deep enough sleep that it left me feeling groggy and just yucky when I woke up, and really frustrated because I felt like I had just spent the past hour and a half and I could have been doing something productive. Instead, I was sleeping and then it didn't even work. So it turns out I had been napping wrong all my life, and the right way to take a power nap is 20 to 30 minutes, not really focused on trying to go to sleep, in just a meditative state. So those are the 4 things that I learned in my research when I was trying to figure out how I could, find a better way of dealing with feeling tired all the time. And guys, when I say it works, I was actually amazed at how much, especially the power napping, I was amazed at how well the power nap worked for me, or works for me. And I'm lucky enough to be able to have a schedule where I can do that every day. And during the like 2 to 3 o'clock crash that most people feel, I take that time and do a 20 to 30 minute power nap. And I feel so refreshed and so focused. And, losing the 30 minutes out of my day is so much better than the hour and a half and still feeling bad. And there's one more thing: when you do that power nap and you come out of it, your alarm goes off and you're feeling refreshed, that actually recharges your mental state for up to 3 hours after. So you have mental clarity and focus for at least another 3 hours. If you do this at 3 o'clock, that's going to get you through the rest of your work day. And I love it. I am hooked on power napping now, and I am an avid supporter. So those 4 tips for you: obviously, get enough nighttime sleep, 7 to 9 hours, drink lots and lots of water, because even a little bit of dehydration can make you feel fatigue. Make sure you're moving your body every hour. So taking a few steps around your desk, stretching, what have you. And then the fourth one was that power nap, in which you don't actually focus on trying to fall asleep. It's just you relaxing and unplugging for 20 to 30 minutes. So if you feel like this video has been helpful to you, please let me know that by clicking the like button below. That lets me know that the content I'm making is actually beneficial, is what you need, and I am meeting my goal at trying to help you. And if you haven't done so already, please remember to click that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications, because, as I always say, it is my #1 goal to provide you with as much information as possible that is going to help you live your best life.